welcome to my Guardian Tales 2023 Beginner's Guide. Now, I want to start this off by saying one little thing. Now, in this game, it's not a meta run game. There are certain characters that will make some content easier for you and make you perform better in certain contents. However, you can clear the majority, if not quite a good portion, of the game with lower end characters. There have been people who have gotten to most of the game, if not cleared most of the game, quite successfully with doing rares. There's lots of challenges. You can find documents of this on YouTube, on the official Discord, and you'll see that quite often. So don't go into this game thinking that, oh, I have to pull for this character, or I have to do this, oh, I'm messed up, I can't play anymore. It's not like that. There's just more efficient ways to play, and there's less efficient ways to play. There realistically isn't a best way to play, as Guardian Tales is quite free to play and casual friendly. Additionally, I'm going to begin with two little helpful resources that exist within the game, and that's first one is the hero journal. You can go here if you're not sure what a hero does. Just click on them. You can click abilities, see what their skills do, see what their exclusive weapon does. You can see what stat buffs they give you once you progress into leveling them and evolving them. You can check all kinds of things here. You can even check what level you can get the stats at, what evolution stage. So if you're interested in knowing what a hero does and you don't really want to check external sources, this is a great way to do it. The second resource is actually also going to be the item book, and that's because it can very easily tell you what EX weapon is what character. Some people always miss these and they'll be running mismatched EX weapons, mismatched weapons in general. So you can come here, and if you're not sure whose EX weapons is what, for example, let's say I don't know what this Azure longsword looks like, I'm going to click on it, and boom, that's Marina. And it even says it on the weapon itself, Grand Admiral Marina only. So now I know that this weapon is Marina's EX weapon. You can figure out quite a lot of things here if you're not sure what shield to use. You can pop down here, check out some of the epic shield base stats, see maybe, oh, that's 41 to 44 defense. This one's 42 to 45 defense, so maybe this is a better shield if you don't want to check external sources or you just want to play the game at your own pace without any guides or anything. Going in blind, I think, is a great option in Guardian Tales, as you can't really be far punished for making any mistake. There isn't going to be, a progression kill moment once you mess up. So, first tip, I'm going to provide 5 major tips in this video. They will help you out quite a ton. Number 1 is understand what a character does. Now, there won't always be someone to answer your team building questions, and there won't always be someone who can cover every single possible potential team-based question you have. For example, you can provide 10 different screenshots of 10 different teams, and sure, someone might be able to answer them, but that won't be always, and you need to learn how to do it yourself. So let's start off with Ogma. How would I know that he's a tank without asking someone or even checking his role? Let's check his kit out. Beats enemies with Heat Blade. That's his normal attack. And his second part of his normal attack, it's actually a tappable ability called Tactical Shield. Taunts enemies around. Defense increases by 50% for 3 seconds. Now, that seems like a very tank-like trait, right? Maybe that isn't enough. Let's check his party buff. You can get quite a lot of knowledge about a character and what they do based on their pilot buff and their normal attacks. So his party buff is a 45% defense increase. Now, if he's not a tank, what is he? Maybe you're still doubting. Let's check his special ability. Enhances defense of party members who have lower defense than his. Party members' defense increases by 50% of difference between Ogma. Now, that's definitely a tank. You can tell now that you understand what he does. Now, maybe you don't know if you need his EX weapon, right? Well, you can check it out. You can click this and it will show you his EX weapon. You can read its passive ability, you can read its skill and figure out what it does. Now, you know what Ogma does. Let's look at another example. Maybe that's a lucky example that I picked, right? Let's look at, for example, Kamael. This is a character that everyone knows. Let's check his abilities out. I don't know what he does. Who knows? Maybe he's a melee DPS. Let's look at his party buff first thing. Range damage plus 50%. That means he's probably a ranged character because he's buffing range damage. Otherwise, why would he be buffing range damage if he's not a ranged character himself? Let's check his normal attack. Absorbs the enemy's life force to deal damage. On the last circle of life set, shoots a concentrated orb to heal all allies' HP and reduces the enemy's ranged defense by 20% for 3 seconds. That's quite cool. He reduces range defense by 20%, and he also increases the party's range damage by 50%. So this means he's quite good on range teams, but that must mean he's not that great on melee teams because he's primarily supporting ranged characters. In addition to this, he also seems to be able to heal, which means you can run him on a team without a healer potentially. Now, maybe that's not enough. Let's check his special ability out. Increases Circle of Life's damage and recovery by 25%. Wow, that means he's doing more damage and healing more. Additionally, this is part of his ranged kit. This must mean that he's a ranged DPS who also supports ranged DPSs while healing the entire team. So to get the best use out of him, it would be optimal to run him in a team with ranged characters. Great. Now let's look at, for example, Beth. We don't have her here, but let's look at her kit. Let's look at her party buff first. Party buff, melee damage plus 50%. That must mean she's a melee character because she's buffing melee damage. This means that Kamael and Beth aren't really the best of synergies because while Beth's doing melee damage and boosting melee damage, Kamael is doing range damage and boosting range damage, which means their buffs and their damage boosts don't really coincide. Right? In addition to, this is a short little tip that won't always apply. For example, let's look at her exclusive weapon. How do you know if this character absolutely needs their EX weapon in case you haven't checked out one of my previous videos? Let's check what special passive her EX weapon provides her. On Dark Smash's hit, decreases Dark type resistance by 20% for 3 seconds, and generates a shield by 10% of the damage inflicted upon enemies. That seems quite strong. You're reducing the enemy's Dark type resistance, while you being a Dark type means they're going to be taking a lot more damage. In addition to you generating shields for yourself while doing damage, it means not only are you going to be getting much more tanky, but you're also going to be doing a lot more damage, which results in you being a lot more tanky. This means that she definitely needs her EX, as she quite benefits from it. However, what if a character doesn't? Let's look at, for example, Maya. Let's look at her abilities. Her party buff is skill damage plus 90%. Is she a skill damage character then? Maybe her auto attacks don't do much. Maybe her weapon skill is really important. Let's check her normal attack. Wind of Passion, blows hot wind with a fan. Wind of Healing, restores HP of allies in front, also removes negative effects. That really seems like a healing ability. Maybe that's not enough. Let's check her chain skill. Restores all allies' HP by 50% of heal and removes all negative effects. Increases allies' crit chance by 20%. That's interesting. She's also healing a lot on her chain skill and cleansing her entire team. That's really cool. Her special ability is when using Wind of Passion, restores HP of the party member with lowest HP by 20% of heal. That's even more insane. She also heals from her special ability? Damn, right? You can tell that this is a healer character based on what their stats and special abilities say about themselves. Her role is support. It even makes it easier for you to understand. The reason why I'm explaining all of this so broken down is so you can learn what characters do and how to properly use characters. Now let's look at her exclusive weapon to see if she needs it. It provides her with some stats, heal percentage. Exorcist Maya only. Let's look at the special passive for Maya. On Wind of Passion's hit, inflicts extra 20% of DPS. In case there's a party member on its way, restores the party member's HP by 10% of heal. This seems beneficial. It definitely makes you do a bit of extra damage, and it definitely increases your healing by a bit. However, unlike Beth's, where she's now doing a lot more damage and becoming a lot tanky, for Maya, it's really only enhancing her kit and not by much. It's not adding new things to her kit like Beth's EX weapon does. It's only enhancing what's already there. So that's the first tip. Essentially, learn how to properly learn characters. The second tip is actually going to be really important. In fact, probably more important than the first. And that is, in this tab, Hero Growth, these purple currencies called Hero Crystals. Do not spend these on Dream Evolution Stones or Star Pieces. You require 700 Hero Crystals per fully limit broken hero. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what limit breaking is called. It's this option right here. And for every limit break on a character, their max level increases by 1, which means when a character is fully limit broken, they will be 5 levels higher than your normal hero. That's quite a lot of stats you get. And from limit breaking, you get even more awakening nodes, which means it's an even larger gap between your current character and a character without the limit break. However, this currency is primarily obtainable only through summoning. You can farm it, but it's a lot slower and quite difficult for a beginner to farm. So don't buy star pieces or dream evolution stones. It will set you quite far back, as hero crystals are important not only for limit breaks, but they actually help you reach quite a useful goal in unlocking the max limit break option in your training grotto. Without it, it's quite difficult to constantly have multiple max limit broken characters, and you can't max limit break every character you get. If you want to try out a new character, you can't just all of a sudden max limit break them, max evolve them, max awaken them. So it's very important to focus on unlocking the training grotto options, and wasting hero crystals on evolution stones is definitely going to make it a lot worse. If you're wondering how I have 100 evolution stones, is because they're not just obtainable with hero crystals, but from missions themselves. Some events will give you them, so don't ever buy hero crystals into dreamstones. It's simply not worth it. You are going to always lose out. The third tip is actually going to be about your mileage and your magic medals. So your magic medals, you obtain 100 of them every time you do a weapons banner summon. For mileage, you get 1 mileage per single pull. It means a multi will get you 10 mileage. Events will also give you random amounts of mileage. Some events will give you more, some will give you less. There will be some missions specifically that will give you mileage, some will give you more, some will give you less. So your most frequent source is going to be through summons, especially as a new player, because you will be summoning quite often and quite a lot. But there's 2 things you should be aware. Number 1 is to never mileage a hero. The reason is because it's so much easier to get a hero you want than it is to pull a weapon you want. The second reason being that you get hero crystals whenever you summon for a hero. Every hero dupe that you pull gets converted into hero crystals. Now, what this means is you will constantly be pulling rare dupes, constantly be pulling common dupes, so those will always be converted into hero crystals, and you really need those for max limit breaking. And the second part of this is mileaging weapons is very, very expensive. Okay, because it's 300 mileage tickets per weapon, and it's not so easy to stack up mileage tickets. You can't get 300 mileage tickets in a week or 2. It's possible if you're a new player, because you'll get so many gems and so many pulls, but as you start progressing, mileage tickets aren't going to be all that plentiful. So you have to really pick what weapons are going to be the most beneficial, and I've made a video on this on which weapons are really worth prioritizing. But for magic medals, there's going to be a couple of things that you really want to buy. And that is going to be the monthly Epic exclusive equipment box for 300 magic medals. There's 2. One for 300 and one for 900. Never buy the 900 magic medal box. Always buy the 300 magic medal box, the 10 option chain stones if you can, and the 5 legend exclusive equipment boxes. The legend exclusive equipment boxes are 100 magic medals each, and you can buy it 5 times every month. The option chain stones are 30 magic medals each, and you can buy them 10 times each month. In terms of priority, I'd put Epic exclusive equipment first, then legend exclusive equipment, and then option chain stones. The reason is, it really depends for slots options 2 and 3. You can get option chain stones if you need them more first, or legend exclusive equipment box if you need that more first. But always, no matter what, try to get the Epic equipment exclusive box for 300 magic medals. Another thing is EX weapons. This is tip number 4. This is going to matter quite a lot. Don't extract every single EX weapon that you get. The reason is because they all have something called a collection bonus. So when you get them to level 60, which you get to by pressing this enhance button and then checking out this box right here, which is level 60 level up, you can put a certain amount of hammers and it will lock it so you can't go higher than level 60 with the amount of hammers that you put in. This means you can quickly do this. It'll cost you some gold and some hammers. Get them to level 60 like this. Proceed with equipment enhance. It'll get them to level 60. Then you can go to your collection, acquire your collection bonus, and then you can unlock it and then extract it for 300 magic metals. This will pretty much fund your monthly epic exclusive equipment box on repeat if you do this properly. However, there are weapons that are of value. For example, here I'm holding on to Ruse because she is a good character. I'm holding on to Veronica's because she is a useful character. I'm holding on to this simply because I like Bari, not because she's good, not because I'm going to invest in her, but I can't afford to sell Mariel. Too cute. Anyways, the reason why I'm holding these is because this is not really a tip, but because of this, it will help me achieve more stat bonuses on my account over time. So I'd rather get those done, and I'm not really in a lack of magic metals at the moment. In addition to the fourth tip, I'm going to be adding another one. This is part of it as it's quite vital to your progression, and that is rifts. These are going to be extremely crucial to your progression at each and every step of the game. It doesn't matter if you're an early game player, if you're a mid game player, if you're a returning player, if you're an end game player, you are going to be doing rifts all the time. As a new player though, you're going to be wanting to focus on one type. Only one type of rifts, and that is the evolution dungeon. This can be for earth or basic characters, for fire or light characters, or for water and darks. As you're doing them, you can get these things called evolution stones. They allow you to evolve your characters, which heavily increase their stats, unlock awakening nodes, and allow you to limit break them once they're fully evolved. In addition to allowing you to also farm hero crystals on the side once you have the rare heroes for it maxed out. However, as a new player, don't worry about it here. You're going to want to pick the character of the element or attribute that you're going to be using. Pick them on the unique hero tab. Sometimes if you have multiple, it will randomly pick one. So you want to make sure you're doing it for the right character. And then for the rare heroes, some will have more options, some will have less. But generally, there's going to be 4 that you really only will care about. First is Karina, second is Craig, third is, Aoba or Elvira. And it's debatable beyond that point, but it doesn't matter as you'll eventually just get them all fully evolved. So don't really worry about it. However, these stages all give you different rewards. For example, a level 20 stage only gives me an average evolution loot of 11, while the level 80 stage gives me an average evolution loot of almost 20. That's nearly double. So you really want to be farming as high as you can, and don't invest gems or massive quantities of stamina until you can clear around, 70, as that's where it gets really, really efficient. Now, the 5th tip is going to be gem usage. When should you do stamina refreshes? As stamina is quite a vital part of your progression, and gems are quite vital as well. They'll be fundamental for you to summon, they'll be fundamental for you to do weapons or even hero summons. There's often going to be shop deals for specific things, such as there was an epic limit breaking hammer somewhere here, but it's, I believe, gone now. But you could get an epic limit breaking hammer for 5,000 gems. Now that's a bundle that's quite useful, as in case you don't remember, there's this thing called weapon limit breaking. I can't use this as an example, but here, you can limit break certain weapons without needing the dupes for them by using epic limit breaking hammers for EX weapons or legendary limit break hammers for legendary EX weapons. And they essentially act as a dupe of the weapon that you're going to be using them on. So they make the limit breaking process quite convenient, as limit breaking increases the DPS of a character by quite a bit. It gives you 5 additional levels of just base attack to work with, in addition to 10% additional attack for a lot of DPS characters, or for some like Ogma, it will give you more defense. However, that's not something you'd want to max limit break, as it's not as important as a 10% attack increase and a 5 level stat difference of just base attack on the weapon. So what should you do? As a new player, you shouldn't be doing more than one refresh on stamina because there's not going to be many stamina consuming activities, or there's not going to be enough activities for you to invest that much stamina on efficiently. If there's a 2x event going on like there was during the 2nd anniversary boost, where they buffed evolution dungeons, you'd want to be doing 2 refreshes every single day if possible, because that would mean your 50 stamina is worth 100 stamina, in which case it's absolutely worth it. However, right now there is a awakening dungeon boost, so you get a lot less value out of it. Another thing that's part of this stamina and gem correlation. As you play story, you'll get these purple coins. You can invest these on stamina, coffee grinders, and these will just give you extra resources to work with. And as you get these extra resources, you really want to hold on to them. You can buy the evolution stones, as you'll eventually get enough to buy everything. However, for a lot of these, you want to save the stamina, because wait for something like a 2x evolution dungeon boost or even an item dungeon boost and just rock into it. You can buy all the stamina out, clear the level 70s or 80 stages, and you'll get so much more value out of it. Gem wise, you have a good weekly income. Once you start transitioning into the mid to end game, you have, you'll generally have about like 20,000 gem income monthly at least, from what I remember, and that might be near the lower ends. So gems are quite valuable, but so is stamina, so make sure to balance them properly. Gems for summoning, it's much better to just do hero banners because it's a much higher rate. However, you won't be able to mileage every single weapon you need for every single hero that you're using. So there will be occasions where you will have to summon on the weapons banner, and so you will do it. However, if you can mileage the weapon, it's generally better to do it, but if you have spare gems, just summon on the weapon, okay? Unless there's another hero that you really want to summon for, it's better to go for a hero and then their weapon. But, like during Anniversary Week, there was 2 or 3 or even 4 really good characters that you want to summon for. Yunha, Claude, First Corps Commander, those 3 being the most popular and the most efficient choices during that time. So here's what you'd want to do. You want to go for Claude and then EX on your reroll, and then pick up Yunha as you go, pick up First Corps Commander as you go, and then go back to get Yunha's EX and then First Corps Commander's EX. That's how you would progress. But here, there's not really a lot of crazy options. You could go for, on your reroll, something like Heroes Kai, and then his EX, which I believe is Durandal. Yes, you'd go for that, and then you'd summon for, maybe Chrome or another character, or Chrome and their weapon. But on weeks where there aren't multiple good heroes, you want to go for hero plus weapon if you can. But weeks there are multiple good heroes available, you'd want to go heroes as much as you can, get them, and then you can just slowly stack mileage for their weapons, or just wait for their banner to rerun again. That's going to be it for, I think, my 5 biggest tips to beginners. I will make a larger one, but it will be a lot less in-depth, a lot less shorter, and it will cover more things generally. However, I think this is going to be really helpful to a lot of players. And I'll have a team building video out soon, hopefully, but there's already quite a good few team building resources out there, so I don't think it's all too necessary. Anyways, hope you lot enjoyed the video. If you did find it helpful, subscribe. It really helps out the channel quite a ton. Like, drop a comment so other people can also see this and find help from it. Anyways.